Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. This series I am once again joined by my wonderful co-host, That Darn Kitty.
Dorkus and I are sharing our experience reading The Way of Kings for the first time. Each episode we will summarize what we've read and discuss the experience along the way.
This is Storming the Archives, The Way of Kings, and today we discuss Chapter 56.
Chapter 56.
Chapter 56. That Storming Book. Dalinar feels the thrill as he fights atop Gallant, Parshendi all around him. He notes that they fight in pairs. As he fights two pairs, one scrambles away, turning to glare back at him. Dalinar wonders if, because this one has a smaller jawline and no beard, this might be a female. The Parshendi break, giving Dalinar a free moment. He hands Gallant over to Taleb, concerned that the Parshendi had been getting too close to him. He ruminates further on the Parshendi pairings and likelihood that they're married couples. He finds the possibility fascinating and feels it is concerning that in all this time, the Alethi still know so little about their enemies. He intends to collect a few bodies for study after the battle. Dalinar heads back into the fight. Adolin has been more reserved since being wrong about Sadeas. Dalinar strikes 4 Parshendi at once. Suddenly, he feels the same nausea he felt the last time the thrill failed him. He kills 6 Parshendi, feeling regret immediately after. The thrill had once been so strong in Dalinar he had even nearly attacked Gavilar at the height of his rise. Dalinar had been jealous. Gavilar had won Navani. He was the only worthy opponent. Dalinar thinks he shouldn't feel bad for killing Parshendi. Suddenly he is warned a second army of Parshendi approach the battlefield. Dalinar wonders about the implications of the second army, that they may have been holding back their forces before now. Dalinar switches roles from warrior to tactical commander. He surveys the battlefield. The second army is flanking Sadeas' position, putting him in great danger. Dalinar rushes off straight through enemy lines. He's the only one who can get there fast enough. He barely makes it in time. Sadeas is down, being pummeled by several Parshendi. What happens next is a slaughter. Dalinar embraces the thrill. He looses the Blackthorn. Against all odds, he just barely manages to hold off the Parshendi until Adolin and his forces arrive. The Parshendi have lost the battle. Sadeas lives. More than that, where Dalinar expected recrimination, Sadeas seems thrilled. He praises Dalinar's idea and claims all his soldiers will feast like light eyes that night. Sadeas pulls Dalinar aside and asks why Dalinar had risked his life so foolishly. Dalinar explains that the codes dictate one does not abandon their allies unless there's no recourse. He then cites the Way of Kings. He believes he is coming to understand what Gavilar saw in it. Sadeas states he may let Dalinar tell him what he means, and wonders if he ever truly knew him. Dalinar looks out at the battlefield, nauseous. He stumbles away, unwilling to retch in front of his soldiers. Light grows so distant. The storm never stops. I am broken, and all around me have died. I weep for the end of all things. He has won. Oh, he has beaten us. Dated Palahakev, 1173, 16 seconds pre-death. Subject, a Thaylen sailor.
Right. Are we still... Yeah, this still seems like it could be like echoes of things Herald could have said.
Yes.
Particularly the one that actually died.
Yeah, particularly, especially if he's like the only one left and he can't possibly win because he's the last. I kind of wonder if these are all prophecies. I don't remember if I've mentioned it or not, but that did pop into my mind at some point, the possibility that we are going to experience all of these coming true.
Yeah, rather than them being echoes of the past.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know much else to say on it. We get a battle scene.
Yes, the Blackthorn emerges.
Yes! A big part of me is curious to see what Kaladin will make of this battle, like what he'll think of it if he's there.
Yeah, and what he'll think of Dalinar.
Exactly.
Saving his ally.
Because if he's there, he probably saw Dalinar bull rush the entire army to get to his ally.
Yeah, he even says the bridge crew, Sadeas' bridge crews stood watching.
Ignored.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they did see this.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, all of that said, we get a battle. Dalinar is in the thick of it, and he's experiencing the thrill. And he has not experienced the nausea from that one previous time. It seems to have been a one-off. Yeah?
Yeah, and as he thought that, I was like, oh, so we're going to get nausea later on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's sort of wonky because I think the last time it happened, it was done in response to the voice telling him, I will lend you what aid I can. And I kind of presume that it's the voice that is causing the thrill to falter in him.
Okay.
So then throughout this chapter, as it falters, I think it's being done deliberately to him. And he relies on the thrill in several ways. So if it is being done to him deliberately, then whoever is doing it to him is possibly wise enough to know that in this dire situation, it's necessary. But then what does that say about the necessity of the thrill at all?
What is it necessary? Is it good? Is it needed?
Exactly.
Is it something the Parshendi are doing with their magic singing?
I think we've wondered that at one point, if it's the singing that's getting to Dalinar. But the question is then, why wouldn't it be happening to anyone else? I think it's more likely to be the Almighty than the Parshendi.
Yeah, so it's making him question just wanton violence. It's making him question whether that's a good thing or not. Because it seems like the thrill is... when the thrill kind of comes back when he goes, no, it's good for me to be killing them. It's good. This is right. This is what I should be doing. And then it returns later on where it's just like he sees all the bodies and he's upset about the death that surrounds him. So it's kind of like, yeah, the thrill is wearing off because he's gaining conscience for the killing he's doing.
Excellent. So then he's fighting, what was it, 2 pair of Parshendi, and he notes the ones without beards might be women. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that seemed quite obvious. Like, I was like, okay, because it seems like maybe he was seeing their faces a lot more than just, he was seeing them as people. So it makes sense that he now notices, oh, that's actually a bit more of a feminine thing. And then he does think, okay, well, they don't seem to have breasts, but how does he know how they work? What their biology is like. So that, yeah, then maybe they're not mammals at all and they don't need breasts. So think about that. Yeah, so it seems like, wow, they've been at this war for years and they haven't figured out whether these are male or female. Like, that's quite a big deal. It bears testament to how little they care about their opponents. Like, they don't even really consider them people.
Yeah.
They didn't consider whether they had gender.
Yeah, and I'm really wondering, throughout this whole chapter, did they never take a live captive? Did they never question prisoners or anything like that?
Why would they? They can hardly speak. Or can they speak?
Of course they can. I mean, Gavilar spoke with them. They speak well enough to sign a treaty and ask,
yeah, that's true.
Where is their music? Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe they, in the beginning, they might have done that and realized that it was just useless and they would not talk, they would not speak, and they would just, yeah. And then even if you take live prisoners, what you're not gonna ask them about their culture because you're a war nation. You're not interested in their culture. You just want to kill them.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're so uninterested in them that you don't even figure out that they've got male and female partners, you're probably not going to ask questions, even if you had questions about how they live, even if you had captured anyone.
Yeah. But it's so short-sighted. Know your enemy, or whatever the phrase is. It could only help. Information can only help.
Yeah. It can only add to your arsenal of what they're fighting for. This whole thing is, what's happening? Why did they do this to us? Well, maybe you should ask them.
Right?
Yeah.
But Dalinar gets a slight reprieve in the battle, so he pulls back and he sends Gallant away because lately the Parshendi have been getting in too close and he doesn't want to risk Gallant because of it.
At a later stage, he does call him back, which is pretty cool. Like, he just goes, Gallant! And then the horse hears him and just leaves the boat. Because he gave Gallant to people to run back to the other lines. He wanted him to be safe. And then when he sees that there is this report of the other army, he actually calls Gallant back. And Gallant leaves whoever was walking him off and runs back to him, which is pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. I like Gallant. He's a smart boy. Dalinar starts to question what I've been questioning, which is, why don't they know more? Why haven't they looked into any of this stuff? And he gets back into the fight. He notes that Adolin is a bit less bombastic than he usually is. He's been uncharacteristically reserved since being proven wrong about Sadeas. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I'm wondering, okay, so he was very confident about it. Being wrong about something will make you feel, okay, wait, maybe I need to think a bit more about this. So it makes sense. Maybe he's embarrassed, or maybe he's suspicious and he doesn't want to tell his dad how suspicious he is. Doesn't want to deal with it. Yeah, that's fair. Dalinar reflects on the strength of their new tactics, the hammer and anvil tactics, which are tried and tested, I believe, in ancient warfare. Yeah, Sadeas' forces being the anvil, Dalinar being the hammer.
Yeah. Dalinar is embracing the thrill, it's surging within him, and he reflects on how one fights with a shard blade, how it's different than your average blade, particularly the momentum, and how it's important if you're fighting against one to get in to make it more difficult for the shard bearer to move, because they have a slightly different range of movement, because they could risk hitting a friend or any number of things.
Getting close into them is a way to defeat them, getting right in out of their reach, essentially.
Yeah. Then he manages to kill all four, and he's hit by the nausea again.
Yeah, at this point I'm like, okay, well, we really don't, this is not a good time. But he seems to fight through it.
Yes, and then he kills 6! And then he has that one important line, surely these Parshendi, these soldiers, deserved respect, not glee as they were slaughtered.
No, we don't have time for that thought. But yeah, glee is a bit much, you know? Just maybe you don't have to be happy that you're killing them. You can hate war, it's fine.
Yeah, but to counter that, you don't want the pendulum swinging to the other extreme either, right? So you don't want glee at killing, that is sadistic. But I don't necessarily, I think there are different tiers of respect that you can offer your enemy, if that makes sense. You can have respect for an enemy's strength, and I don't think you need to be desecrating bodies by any means. What is it I'm trying to say? But when you're mid-battle, fighting and killing, focus on surviving.
Yeah, you don't have time for any of those considerations, and they're still attacking you. So, yeah, respect. What respect? Are you going to stop and bow? You know, you can't do that. They are still attacking you.
Yeah, save the respect for after the battle and for more lofty things, I think. Yeah?
Yeah.
Then he thinks back to when the thrill was at its strongest. It was when he was younger and conquering the world with Gavilar. And at the very height of the thrill, when Gavilar had won Navani's hand, he had nearly turned on Gavilar.
Yeah, I don't know if big. I don't know if it was at that time, like the exact moment, but it was in his mind when they were fighting. It's like he had won a certain battle, and then instead of just stopping, he was going to go for Gavilar.
Yeah, I'll read the passage. Dalinar could remember the jealousy on that day some 10 years ago, when the itch to attack Gavilar, the only worthy opponent he could see, the man who had won Navani's hand, had nearly consumed him. So we really get the sense that the thrill is like an adrenaline drug.
Yeah, it's and it is very, very hard to control.
Yeah.
It's looking for an outlet all the time.
Yeah. Dalinar continues the fight, and one of the Parshendi gets a pretty big blow on his helmet. And coming off the thoughts about respecting the Parshendi, he thinks to himself that he shouldn't feel bad for killing the Parshendi. This is right. And more drug.
Yeah, it seems to get a second dose, essentially. Keeps going. Yeah.
Yep. And that's when the second Parshendi army arrives.
Yeah. And he's got to... He's like, okay, well, we've now triggered them into... We've now started bringing 2 armies, so now they're actually learning. But they seem to be learning a lot quicker than they usually do.
Yes. And I was wondering to myself about mirroring Parshendi. I was wondering if... Because I don't think that the Parshendi are nearly as wiped out as we've been led to believe. I wonder if they are essentially trying to match the Alethi tactic for tactic. And now that they're working together, I think they're just trying to, like, feign equal strength. Again, I don't think the Parshendi are necessarily trying to win any sort of war. I think they are trying to continue the bloodshed, to keep them divided. There was a part of me that wondered if the Everstorm is going to erupt at the Shattered Plains, and maybe they've been trying to maintain this war to keep all of the Alethi there to fight the Everstorm. But then I think, well, that's a very costly gamble because it's costing them a lot of Parshendi lives. So I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, that would be dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely get the sense that they are stalling.
Yeah, they've got... We still don't know anything about their motivations, but part of what we were wondering is their main thing would be to keep the Alethi from uniting. So
yeah,
them continuing their war is supposed to keep them divided, but now it's like, now the war is starting to unite them. So what's going to happen next?
Yep. So Dalinar takes a moment to survey this new army and what it means. He notes we still don't know anything about them, or we know so little about them. He notes that they are slow, but they can jump really far.
Yeah, so a man can outrun a Parshendi, but they can't. They can jump chasms.
Right. So they don't even need bridges.
Yeah. So when they slow down, they have a certain way that they do it. They do a certain run up, and then they jump, and they can jump chasms. So that's quite a huge thing. But they don't seem to use that jump like to retreat or anything like that. Like to run. How does he know that a man can outrun a Parshendi? So it's like, okay, well, they're running. If you're chasing a Parshendi, why don't they just keep continuously jumping? It's like, well, maybe that's because they just don't have stamina to continue. They have like 1 or 2 jumps before they need to rest or something like that.
Right.
Or they're for some reason not using that tactic or not using that ability in the same way that they didn't use 2 armies before.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Restraining themselves. Why? I want to know. The second army is flanking Sadeas, who, like the soldier that he is, prefers to hang out in the back. So Dalinar calls out for Gallant and charges right through Parshendi lines alone to try and rescue him. And basically, because the Parshendi fight in pairs, there's more spacing between them, which makes it easier for Gallant to go through without being too harassed. But as Dalinar gets closer to his goal, he does note, as you had said, they're learning. The Parshendi managed to make a spear wall, which is unusual for them.
Yeah, they hadn't done that. And so he has to go and basically cut off the spear points, but that also results in Gallant Being wounded. Poor Brie.
Yeah. But he's okay. He'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He survives.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's going and he's getting there, I'll read this passage. The thrill rose, and Dalinar did not force it down. He needed it too much. An ally was in danger. It was time to let the Blackthorn loose. Pretty epic line.
Yeah. Woo! You're like, yes, do it. You do need to let this loose. Hurry up.
Yeah. And what does it mean, though, that he's embracing the thrill for this? It's... because up until now, we've been like, it's good that he's not being affected by this weird drug spell thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, clearly that has a use here. I don't think Dalinar would have been nearly as good if he didn't have the thrill here.
Yeah. It's a source of energy for him and stamina. So yeah, the fact that I don't feel like we need to get rid of the thrill. We need that if we're going to be in battle.
I think it's a net negative, I'll be honest.
We need to be shown that. The culture needs to be shown that. But they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I'm kind of feeling like the thrill is affecting the culture.
Yeah. Yeah, true. It's because that's all they're after all of the time.
Yeah.
But they still think it's normal. They think that that's a good thing. That's a thing they need to embrace because warfare is what they're about. Being dominant is what they're about.
Yeah. So Dalinar is just wreaking carnage upon the Parshendi. Hundreds, I think it is. I think it is in the hundreds. He does a very cool maneuver at one point where he lets his shard blade go, and he uses Sadeas's hammer, and then he does the heartbeat thing where on the 9th heartbeat he throws the hammer, and then on the 10th heartbeat the sword materializes.
Yeah. There's a lot of skill in doing that. Like figuring out when he's got to focus on his 10th heartbeat, which heartbeat he's on, and then throw the hammer at a certain point. And one of the lines that when he does this, he actually essentially is standing over Sadeas, and he describes Sadeas's armor being shattered and things like that. And one of the things that I highlighted was something about the way that you repair this armor. Regenerating shard plate generally shattered the gemstone it drew light from. Yeah, it was so far gone that light had stopped save for a few tiny wisps. It could be fixed, but it would be expensive. So I guess they use Stormlight to regenerate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to see how that works.
Yeah, or at least to power it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically they're fighting. Sadeas is down. They were beating up on him pretty hard by the time Dalinar got there, but he's like the thrill crescendos, and he's having fun, and he is so damn close to his shard plate being rendered inoperable.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some important pros. What would happen to the Alethi army if both he and Sadeas fell here? 2 High Princes dead in the same battle, 2 sets of plate and 1 blade lost? It couldn't happen. He wouldn't fall here. He didn't yet know if he was mad or not. He couldn't die until he knew. Mm-hmm. I think the way it's written, these strike me as thrill-fueled thoughts. Like, the closer to death you become, the more powerful the thrill holds sway over you. So he doesn't want to die, but these feel like these are thoughts intended to fuel him, not any sort of regret or I shouldn't take risks type of a thought. It's like I have to keep fighting.
Yeah, that's what I heard from them.
But then Adolin comes in with the rest of the soldiers, and as they've broken through, they've also simultaneously essentially won the battle. The Parshendi forces are breaking at that point.
Yeah, so just in time. Very good timing.
Yep. Adolin was shocked by Dalinar's brave and daring venture, and Dalinar says he was able to do it with the knowledge that Adolin would be able to command the army while he's gone, if he's gone.
Yeah, he can rely on him, and he did, and it worked.
Yeah. His shard plate is leaking light like a wineskin used for archery practice,
Mm-hmm.
He was, and he can feel it getting sluggish. So he really, really came close to demise there.
It can freeze on you. Like, it can get stuck on
Yes.
you because it runs out of battery and then you get stuck in it, I suppose. It seems like that's
Yeah.
what it does.
Yeah. And then we get something from Sadius, and I was expecting that whole time exactly what Dalinar was expecting, which was recrimination.
Like, yeah.
Your stupid idea got me flanked and nearly killed. I'm never working with you again, or something to that effect. But instead, and I very strongly feel this is a consequence of the thrill for Sadius, because like Dalinar feeling the thrill crescendoing when he was about to die, I think Sadius did as well. He is excited. He compliments Dalinar. We win again! Dalinar, once in a while it appears that senile old brain of yours can come up with a good idea or two.
And they are the same age, which I love. Dalinar's like, we're the same age. Don't tell me how senile our brain is. Yeah.
Yes, it was an excellent exchange. And Sadius proclaims that all of the soldiers will eat like Light Eyes that day.
That made me think, okay, what's Kaladin gonna get? Well, soldiers will get it. What about
He'll
the
get
bridgemen?
nothing.
Yeah.
Not
Can
a
they can get the
goddamn
leftovers? Come on.
thing. Although I am wondering if drink and libations will be served and allow for an escape opportunity. But I don't know if they're ready yet for that escape opportunity.
True.
Sadius asks why Dalinar did it, and he says it's one of the codes. You don't abandon your allies on the battlefield unless there's no other recourse.
He said, is it the codes? And then he said, no, it's the way of kings. I think he
no, that's something else. So the exchange is, that was a terrible risk, Dalinar. Why? You do not abandon your allies on the battlefield.
Yes,
not unless there's no recourse. It is one of the codes. That honor of yours is going to get you killed, Dalinar. Not that I feel like offering a complaint about it this day. If I should die, then I would do so having lived my life right. It is not the destination that matters, but how one arrives there. The codes? No. The Way of Kings. That storming book. It's a good exchange.
Yeah, it's a very good exchange. And I do actually hope, I don't know if he's joking or not, like, yeah, he seems pretty joking. Like, maybe I'll let you explain to me about that book, you know?
Yeah. I don't know how much of that is genuine Sadius or if it's thrill Sadius.
It's just happy to be alive Sadius.
Yeah. I mean, I suspect that what Dalinar did that day is like peak Blackthorn. Maybe even more so than his days with Gavilar. So if that does earn some genuine Sadius, not just respect, but outright, I don't want to say devotion, but there was a very brief moment of, oh, I hope Elhokar doesn't become jealous of this and then try to do something similar.
Yeah. Oopsie.
Yeah.
What did you think of the line, that honor of yours is going to get you killed, Dalinar? That just made me think of, Ned Stark. I was like, oof.
Have I theorized yet that Dalinar is going to die? I'm pretty sure I did in the last couple of episodes.
Yeah. We just having that line. It's like, yeah, at some point, but yeah, we said obviously not in this book, but at some point that's the character we'll lose.
Yeah. And then as Sadius takes off, Dalinar looks at the destruction that he wrought. He feels nauseous. He wants to retch. He doesn't let himself do it in front of his soldiers, so he kind of stumbles off. And he thinks, you will need luck trying to understand me, Sadius, because I'm having damnation's own trouble trying to do so myself.
I agree with the sentiment.
Ever the introspective one. Yeah.
I don't understand him either.
Yeah. The Way of Kings has a lot of character introspection. Anything else to say?
Like the video!
If you like. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks for joining, Kitty.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, bye.
Kaladin's there. He probably saw Daladin